Hello guys, how are you doing? It's Krish here again. So we couldn't talk about Nest.js recently, right? We talk about Nest.js a lot, but not recently. Today, I'm going to break that. Today, I'm going to talk about something most important topic in Nest.js. So if you work on a real enterprise system, if you really work on a production system, commercial system, this is really useful feature for you. Because when you work on an enterprise system, we have two problems we're facing, right? One is code duplicate. For example, if you get something like a util method, or if you get something like a common method which multiple services being shared, then this code may be duplicate within several services. How you can avoid this? Easy, we can create an NPM package and we can share the package. But the problem is there are no much enough documentation how you can do that with the Nest, right? That's a one requirement we have. The second requirement is when we need something like a non-Nest module, like for example, if you want to deal with Redis, you need the IO Redis. It's the most famous framework out there to deal with the Redis. Right? So likewise, you may find different packages, which is NPM packages, but those are not Nest modules. So you cannot import those as a Nest module into the Nest DI framework, right? In order to do that, the easier to do that is you need to wrap these modules with the NPM package and expose as a Nest.js module. But the problem is how we can do this. So there are enough videos on YouTube to teach you how to create NPM package and reuse the code, but almost no videos to teach you how to create NPM package from a Nest module, right? So today we are going to fill that gap. This tutorial, as usual, I design in a way it's most fit to the enterprise, because you can easily deploy to the NPM.js, but here I'm going to deploy this into GitHub. The reason is most of the enterprise systems, 90% enterprise systems, codes are private, because you can share those code with any other developers, because most of those are carrying business logic, which is private, which is confidential to your organization. So in that case, if you want to publish this in an NPM, probably you are looking for a private repository, which is not free, which is a commercial. You can do that, no problem doing that. But most of the time, your code may be in a GitHub. So it makes sense, it's easy if you can host your packages also with the GitHub. Then your packages and your code and everything will be in the same place, right? So therefore, this tutorial I designed to create wrap Nest module, or create a Nest module as NPM package and host on a GitHub, right? Not on a NPM.js. But if you want to do this with the NPM, it's just a matter of changing the URL. But I think most important is learn how to do that with the GitHub. That's why I designed that way. And also, even though the tutorials what we have, they're explaining just a basic JavaScript expose, right? But here I'm going to talk about how to, because your Nest module may use some external dependencies, some other NPM packages, right? So those should go as your dependency when someone install your package. That's number one. Number two, you may use Nest.js DI framework, dependency ingestion framework, right? In that case, you need to make sure your library, when other service install your library, that's also compatible with the DI framework. So therefore, this is a kind of a full-fledged solution how you can use to learn how to wrap NPM, how to wrap Nest.js module as an NPM package, or else how you can create your own NPM package using Nest.js module so you can reuse the code. As I told before, you can use this in two different scenarios. One, to create your own code to reuse. If you see some Nest.js code where you need to reuse in other service, you can create this NPM package. The next thing is, if you see some useful JavaScript library, then also you can create a wrapper around that using it as a Nest.js module and expose as a Nest.js module to your other services, right? Then in that case, you can use import through the modules. You can get the Nest.js DI framework features. So when you're doing this, I'm going to expose the project I'm going to create today. I'm going to show as a private repository, because that is the way most people need, because most of our code repositories are private, right? So I'm going to demonstrate as a private. but I'm going to expose this project as a public repository in my GitHub, and I'm going to put the link also below in the description. So what you can do is you can use this, you can get this project directly into your code, right? And then you just replace your library name and the UNSJS code and publish, then it will work as it is. But make sure you update the dependency, custom dependencies, what your project need. That's all you need to do. You don't have to create this project from the beginning. And if you want, you can create, but not necessarily. In order to save the time, right? In order to save the time, what I have done is I just created two Nest.js projects, because it takes some time, like a few minutes to create a project with all the dependencies. So I just created, so you can see the screen. It is nothing, just a blank project, right? You can see just created, right? So if we go here, so you can see it just two projects, right? Okay, that's it, right? So these are empty projects. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a module, not one module, two modules in the random Nest project, and then I'm going to expose those as npm to GitHub, and then I'm going to use that created npm package within the test app Nest project. These two are Nest projects, right? So let's, first thing is first, so let's create so I'm going to open these two in a separate code IDEs. So let's first go into random and then open this in a code. So let's quickly, I'm not going to teach you like here many things, because you know this, how to do this. Let's quickly create two modules, right? So Nest J module, first I'm going to create a util module, and then Nest generate service, util service, but no spec. I don't need the test files for now, right? So now let's create the other module called random module, random string module, right? And then also random string service, right? So what we are going to do is, because we need to check the dependency injection, so therefore I'm going to create the method inside the util module and inject that into, export that and inject that into a random string module and use there, and then eventually we're going to expose only random string module through the npm package and see how that works, how the DI works. And also I'm going to use the other npm library, external npm library called random words, as I remember, random words library. So in that case we can see two things: how external library works with our npm package, plus how dependency injection work with our package, right? So let's quickly go here and let's install other npm library, npm install random words. I think this is the library. Yeah, okay. So let's quickly go there, and here in the util service I'm going to create a method public So I'm purposely using this as strings, because this is returning a word array. So it's giving some lint error, so I'm not worrying about that. So now what I need to do is I need to go here. Let's do the export separately, right? I need to go to here and create a method here called public get random string. Okay, so for constructor I'm going to inject right. So here what I did is I created this method inside the util module, and then I'm going to use that in a random string module. But now here what we need to do is we need to export these from here, right? So you know what we need to do is we need to export this random string service, right? We always export services, we import modules, right? So now what we need to do is here we need to go to random service module, and then we need to import, right? We need to import util module, right? So we remember that we export services, we import modules, right? And also from here, because we are going to test this with our app module, so therefore we need to export this as well, right? So export, I mean this is not required when you do the packaging, but I'm me to test that with the app controller. I'm going to export this, right? Random service. Okay, so now I'm good. So now I go back here to the app controller, and in the constructor I'm going to get the private random string service, and then here this dot random dot get random string, right? So here it should be a string array. Okay, I'm done with the Nest application. So now what I'm going to do is npm run start dev. Okay, so now it's giving me an error. Okay, I think we made a mistake here. Right, so here we should export the util service, not the random string service. So we cannot do this, right? Okay, so now we are good. So now let's go and check this. So now you can see we getting random strings, right? So that means our Nest application is complete. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to create our package, right? We need to create our npm package. So my expectation is export this random string generator functionality as a npm package. Keep in mind, this is a Nest module, not as an arbitrary JavaScript module. This is a Nest module written on a Typescript. That's two things we need to understand, right? This is a Nest module using a Typescript. Why is the Typescript important? Because we need to convert this to JavaScript when we export as a npm package. That's number one. Number two, this is a Nest module, so we need to save the dependency injection behavior, right? Because we don't want to export the util module, right? Encapsulation. We don't want to export that, but we need to export only random random string generator module. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is here, I'm going to create a new directory, right? So I'm coming out. So I'm going to create a new directory called, let's say, random string generator, right? And then I'm going to random cd random string generator, right? I'm going to create a directory and change into that, right? So I'm inside that. So now I'm going to create a package. So npm init, right? So it's asking whether this random string generator is my package name. Yes, but I want to add something more to that because I'm going to host this within my GitHub, right? So the complete name would be Krish / random string generator, right? So, and version is fine. Description, I don't want to implement anything. Entry point is not the index.js. Entry point would be this / index.js. Why? Because my package is TypeScript. When I compile that, it will compile as into this directory, and then index.js would be inside that. So I'm going to say in this / index.js. These things are very important. Okay. Test command I don't have. Repository I'm not going to put it now because I don't have it now. Right. So author. Right, license I'm going to keep as it is, and this is okay. Yes, right. So now I have this package, this npm project created. So let's go there and open that also in Visual Studio Code. Right. So now we have this empty file, empty project. Right. So now this package.json we need to little bit tweak, right? Because this is the npm package. we need to publish this into Git, because by default npm are published into npm.js, but we need to publish into Git, right? So how we can do this? We are here we have the name fine, right? We don't have to change anything. Description, I'm not going to use the description for now, right? So here I want to tell publish config, right? The registry is https npm.pkg.github.com/my username, because I want to publish into my repository. So therefore it is my account, so it will go as my username, right? So this is your username. We need to add one more thing. This is important because this is a TypeScript project, right? So therefore when we publish that, we need to publish what we compiled, not the TypeScript source code, right? So therefore we need to tell here what are the files we need to publish. We need to publish what is inside this directory. If you don't put this line, this project will export, npm package will export all your source code, and then it may not work as expected on the client side, right? So therefore it's important to put the file. Okay, so in the script side we don't have any test script, but I'm going to use a build, right? I'm going to use a build command, right? Build script. So when I enter the build, what I need is I need to clean my current this directory if I have something, and then I need to compile this to TypeScript into JavaScript. And also I want to use pre-publish, right? Pre-publish. The reason is every time when the git publish, right, npm run build, right? So what this does is every time when we publish a new package, it will automatically run the build, right? Because otherwise we need to run the build manually and the publish. But here what we do is we create the event pre-publish script. So then whenever git trying to publish as an npm package, it automatically execute the build. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So now I need some dependencies, right? I need to install some dependencies. Okay, so why we need dependencies? Because this is a Nest project. So therefore I need minimum Nest environment in this my npm package, right? So how I can do that? Npm install at nestjs/common, right? I need Nest common library, and also I need rxjs, right? Also I need rxjs, and also I need reflect metadata, right? Reflect metadata. I need these three minimum configuration in my npm project, right? Okay, so I installed that, and also now this is the minimum requirement to run any Nest module as an npm package. But in our case, we use the external dependency called random words, right? So we need to install that as well. So it's only okay. So let's say we need to install random words, right? Random words. Okay, right? So now we have all the dependencies what this npm project required, right? So now we need some other dependencies called dev dependencies. Why? Because this is a TypeScript project. We need to compile this as a JavaScript, right? So for that we need some dev dependencies. Let's install those. Npm install. These are dev dependencies, not the runtime dependencies. So we need to get node types, right? And also to clean the directory, we need rimraf, right? And also we need to install TypeScript. Okay, we need to install TypeScript. These three are development dependencies. Okay, so we have all those dev dependencies as well. That's it, right? That's it. So you can use this project as your template project. You just need to install your custom dependencies and change the package name. That's it, right? So you can use this when I push this to GitHub, you can this as a template project, right? I'll make sure publish into the public repository as well. Now we have done all the project configuration. So what we need to do it now, we need to configure how to convert this TypeScript into JavaScript, right? For that we need tsconfig.json file, right? This is pretty much standard file, so I'm going to copy and paste that. So this is pretty much standard file, nothing different, but only thing is you need to specify this output directory and the root directory, because we need to tell our compile code should go to this directory, right? So that's all. This is, I'm not going to explain because this is pretty much standard tsconfig file. So now one more thing we need to do, when we publish this to GitHub, we need to make sure node modules and the dist folder is not going there, okay? So therefore we need to create .git ignore file, okay? And here we need to tell do not send node modules and also do not send this directory. Okay, that's all, pretty much it's done. So now what we need to do is we need to create a repository in a GitHub to deploy this, right? So here I'm going to create a repository as a private repository, because most of the time these packages you will host as a private packages, because these are most of the time these are company sensitive data, okay? So let's do that. So I go to my GitHub account and I go and create a new repository. So make sure your repository name is equal to your package name, what you do here, okay? So your package name and the repository name should be exactly equal, otherwise this will not work, okay? So I'm going to create a new repository and random generate. I'm going to make as a private, okay? I'm going to make this as a private. Okay, so now let's push this project into GitHub. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I didn't move any code here yet. I'm going to do that later on, right? So I'm going to make this git init, right? So I'm going to add all files, and then I'm going to commit this. It's always good to see whether you committed any additional code like node modules directory or anything like that. Nothing like that. And then I'm going to commit this with project template, right? And then what is my repository name? This one. I'm going to add this to git, and then that's all. I'm going to push this code into master branch, right? I'm going to push this code into master branch. Okay. The reason here is it says repository not found because it's a private repository. So what I need to do is, so let's do this from here so you can see it clearly, right? So if I check the status, I need to push this git push origin master, right? So it will say I cannot push this. You should not use saved any git credentials. And here, so now if I push this, it will ask my username. Okay, so now I push this. I'm going to use this token, but don't worry, by the time this process go live, this token will be deleted, right? So you don't have to try this token. And so now I push that, so you can see here it goes to my master branch, right? So now it's cool. So now we need to create a build script to tell this GitHub to build this project, right? Because what we're going to do is, whenever commit come to the master branch, whenever someone push to the master branch, build this and host as a NPM package, right? So let's do that. For that one, we need to create a build file, right? Typically this you can create just directly here in the GitHub, but I'm going to show it here because then you can learn how to do that and what each step does, right? Technically you don't need this file here in your project, you can delete it later. I'm just creating you to show this one, right? I'm going to use build.yml file. So first you need to give a name for this one. I'm going to give random string generator, right? So this is my package. So I need to tell on, right, when this should execute, right? So on push, when someone push, into these branches, right? In my case, I'm going to use just a master branch, right? So I'm telling here, so when someone push into master branch, do this one, okay? So now you need to tell what are the jobs need to execute, right? So I'm going to give the jobs names, right? Build and deploy. This can be any name you want, right? Build and deploy. And then I need to tell runs on, right? Runs on. So what is the environment I want to run this build? So I'm going to tell Ubuntu latest. Okay, so now I need to tell all the steps I need to run in order to build this. So first step is I'm going to mark as checkout to repository. So because you need to understand you are running on a Git workspace, right? So therefore you need to check out to your own repository. So how you can do this? You can tell users actions / checkout at v2. So what this mean? These are pre-written actions, right? In Git workflow, they have pre-written actions like a checkout, setup node, and for Java different. There is a bunch of pre-written actions, right? You can call those here with the users. So what I'm saying, in actions, checkout action, call here the checkout actions, right? So that means I'm checking out to my repository in the Git workspace. So now the next step is install and build. Okay, so for that I'm going to tell run. If I want to run multiple commands, I can write this pipe sign and run my commands in the next line, but here I just need to one, right? Npm CI. So CI is identical to almost identical to install, or as npm install and npm CI is almost identical, right? So difference is CI we use if you have already package.json file and you just need to install the entire environment as it is here, you can use a CI. But even though you use npm I, it will work, right? There's no problem. But right way is the CI because this is kind of a CI/CD pipeline. Okay. So now I am installing this. So now what I need to do is I need to build this, right? I installed all the dependencies. Now I need to build this. For that, I'm going to have another step, which is publish to registry. Okay. So there I'm going to use a different action here because it's a setup node. Okay, so now I'm going to publish this. So for that I'm going to use the setup node action, and for that action we can pass some parameter. Okay, we can tell what is the node version I'm looking for. I'm looking for node version 16, which is the latest version. You can specify any version you want, and then I need to tell registry URL, and that is https npm.pkg.github.com, right? And also I need to tell what is the scope. Scope is inside this repository, in which area this need to deploy is my username. This is nothing but my username. Okay, and then I need to tell run this, and with this configuration run npm publish, right? So now you would think I didn't build this. I don't want to build this because if you remember in my package.json file, I create this pre-build event, and they are the pre-publish event. Before the pre-publish, I said, okay, go ahead and build it. So that means every time it's trying to publish, it will build automatically. Okay. So now I need to pass one more thing, because in order to do all those things, it need a token. right? So because otherwise it won't have access to publish this. Okay, so how I can do this, I'm going to this would be a run, separate run command, not this one, right? So separate run command, and then for that I need to type environment and my node or token, you can take it from secret dot GitHub token. So this is not something we should set. This is kind of a thing it can take from the environment automatically. Okay, so remember, we don't have to have this file in your project. I just type here in the project so you can understand how it goes. Okay, so now what I need to do is I can okay, so keep this for a moment, and now I need to move my Nest.js project here, Nest.js code here. When you do that, you need to keep one thing clearly in mind. You need to pay attention for here. None of your path should use the src directory path, absolute path, right? It always should use the relative path, otherwise it will break. Okay, so let's try. So let's get our modules. So we are exporting only random string module, but it's fine. We are getting the both module because the dependent module. Okay, so what I'm going to do is here, I'm going to create a src directory, and inside src directory, I'm going to paste it. Right, my both modules, right? So random string and the util. Okay, so now I need to make sure I'm not using this type of path. Okay, so src path should not use. Always it must use the relative path, because otherwise it will break, because this is a package, right? So you go here, and here we don't have anything. Here also you don't have anything. Okay, cool. So now we need to do one more step. We need to export these, whatever your modules, what other application need to access from a separate barrel file, index.ts file, right? Index.ts file. And here I'm going to import from random string, that's random module. So what I'm going to use is random string module, and also I need to import random string service, and now I need to export these two, random string module and random string service, right? So I need to export these two from my file. Okay, so now we are almost done, right? Just to make sure, let's try to run npm Run Build to see whether this work, right? Oops. Npm Run Build. Why it says it's not there? Maybe we did some little silly mistake here. Oh yeah, I missed the L, right? So npm Run Build. Okay, so I don't have any errors, so that means it's working fine, because if you have any errors, then you should fix that before you publish. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to publish this to GitHub, right? So git status, so I have a bunch of changes, git add all and git commit, adding Nest.js module. Okay, and then git push origin master Krish, and then okay. So now if I go back here, you will see my source code also here, right? So now we need to define the action, right? So action is nothing but what we have created here. Okay, so this build YAML file, as I told many times, you don't have to have this in the project, right? So let's go to the action, and then you can say set up action yourself, and this give a little template to you to understand what's happening, and then you can put it here. So if something is wrong, this is important of this this IDE. If anything is wrong with your YAML file, it will just show here with the little underline. It's not very clear, but if you carefully see this, I mean in our case we don't have anything. Let's do something like this. If you put something like here, so you will see it's little underline. So that is the that's how it shows error, right? So in our case we don't have any errors. So I'm going to commit this, adding workflow, and commit new file, right? So now if you go to actions, you will see this queued. Now in a while it will start to process, and then it will tell us whether it's success or fail. Okay, it says it's failed. Okay, let's go and see why this failed. Maybe we missed something. So how you can check that? It's good that it failed too, right? So then you can see why it's failing and how to debug. So you go here, and then it says action step. Okay, set up node version 2 repository not found, right? Unable to resolve action. So if you need detail, so you can go here, and it shows you like kind of a detailed view, right? If it is the middle of the screen. So what happened for us is like little small thing we fail, kind of a spelling mistake. So you go here, and you can go to here, and you can directly change this, right? Or else let's change in the project itself. So because no, let's change this directly here, so then we can copy later on to the project, right? So this should be actions, right? So I'm going to comment this here, fix the typo, and push it, and then go back to actions and see. Okay, see, if fixed typo, comment itself is a good typo, so don't worry, because when I'm doing a tutorial, I'm just dealing with time, because I don't want to have this fully lengthy tutorial. Okay, so now this time it worked, right? So you can go here, and you can see this build, publish, and deploy, and you can see each step, right? What happened on the deploy, what happened on the build section, right? Each section, it's give you a detailed description and detailed log in order to detect. We now completed two steps. We created the package, and we published as an NPM to our NPM registry. So now what remaining is to see whether this is working with a brand new project. How we can do that? So I have created, as I told you, right? So I have created this test app. This is a brand new virgin app, Nest.js app. Is nothing I have done with this. So let's go there and open this. Right, and then this is a brand new project. Let's stop our previous project, because otherwise you might think this is working from this. Let's close this even. We don't need that anymore. Okay, so now this is our brand new project. So now this is what I want to show you, right? This repository is not a public repository. It's a private repository. Okay, so now if we try to install npm I Krish / random, what was our package name again? Go here, right? So this is our package name, right? So if we do that, this will fail, because this go and check in the npm repository, npm.js repository, whether it has some file like this, Krish / something like this, right? If you had something, yeah, it would come, but since we don't have something, it's not coming here. Okay, so now we need to tell this npm, when someone call this repository or this package or like something from this repository, you need to go there. Okay, how we can do that? You need to create a file called .npm rc file. Okay, here what you need to do is you need to tell if someone call from this, right? And then registry equal https npm.pkg.json github.com, right? That's the registry. And also you need to tell, if you want to access this, you need to have an auth token, right? How you can tell this, something like this, and then auth token, right? Auth token. So now we need to take a token, okay? How we can take the token? You can go here and go to settings and go to developer settings, and you can have auth token apps, right? So here I have personal access token, and I can create a new access token to my npm pull, right? So this is to pull the npm packages. So it's good always if you give expiration, but in this case I'm going to give no expiration to show that it is possible, right? But it's always better to give expiration. And then only the permission I need is the read package permission, right? Because I just need the read package permission because I'm going to read this, okay? And then you can say generate token, and it's better you copy this because this is the only this time only you see this, right? In that case the game disappear. If you lost this, you need to regenerate a new token. So but so in my case I don't need this because I'm going to delete this token before I publish this video, right? So you will not be able to use this token, right? So that's it, okay? So now I'm going to show you something cool as well, okay? So if I go here, my test app node modules, right? You don't see anything from the @Krish. Of course, also you don't see anything called random string in the library, right? This is what I want to show you, right? So you can see here, it has a random bytes and the queue, this one, right? So then you have a range. You don't have something called random words, the library. See what I'm going to install here, right? I'm going to install npm install. Okay, I have this command, I think, right? This one, okay? So now this will work, right? So meantime, focus here, you will see this new package come, okay? So now it's pulling here, just focus here, this area. Yeah, so you got the random words. We install our library, but it automatically pull the random words. Why? If you go here, you can see you have a Krish, right? Random string generator. In the package.json, it shows, hey, in order to run this, you need these random words. So therefore, it download that as well, right? So why then we added this Nest.js comment? Because this Nest.js project is already there. The reason why I added this is because in order to compile your Typescript code into the JavaScript code, it required this library, okay? And also, this tells in the NPM, it's a runtime. In case someone don't use this, this library is needed, right? That's why we use this one, okay? But if you put this here in the dev dependency, in the random words, it won't pull up, right? So that's, you need to understand, it must, if it is a runtime library, if your npm packages need this runtime, then you must put into the runtime, okay? This dependency section, okay? So now we are good, okay? So now, and also, if you did not use this files section here, then when you go here in the node modules, you won't see the this directory. Instead of that, you will see src directory and your entire source code. Then it won't work simply in your project, right? So I'll show you the error as well. So when you go here, so now we are going to use our own module. So in the app module, I'm going to tell import, right? Import from @Krish random generator, right? And then I'm going to get only my random module here, random string module here, right? So if you did not use that file option here, and if it is pushed the src directory, then it will say, hey, I cannot find the type name for type or anything for this Krish string random generator, right? Because it is looking for an index file in order to get this information about the library, okay? So now here import section, I'm going to use this random string module, right? And go back to app controller, and here I'm going to use private Random generator is for random string service, right? And here this dot, okay, let me just show you first. This is not working now. Okay, so this is not working now, right? So this dot random string. Okay, so then this has to be a string array, because from there we return a string array. So hope for the best. Moment of truth. npm run start dev. Okay, run, and voila, it's working, right? So now what we have done here, we created our Nest project, and we saw, okay, this code can be reused. So what we did is we extract that code and push into a npm library and push into our GitHub repository. Now other services, they can use the token, right, in this npmrc token, and then they can use that code in our project, right? So now the important thing is this, right? If you change anything on your project, like for example, if you change something here, right? So let's change something here in the random module, right? So here, let's go to not the random service, in the here util, in the util service. Now without doing this, I'm going to send something like this: hello and npm, this kind of hard-coded values, right? I changed this, right? I changed this. Now if I push this to the GitHub, it will say no, it will say build error. Why? Because every time you do some change, you need to make sure you update this version. Okay, every time you do change, you need to make sure you update this version. Okay, you need to update this. So now did I miss anything? No, I think let's give a try. Okay, so let's go back to random string generator. I change one thing, git add git. So now it goes here. So now you can see, if you go to your repository, and if you go to the actions, right, you will see the second action, see, updated to the logic to the fixed string. Okay, so now it worked successfully. So now what you can see is, if I come back here to the package.json, so pay your attention to here, right? It's a version 1.100, right? So if I install this now, it will get 1.0.1. It fits the new version, right? So now if I run this project, now it's supposed to give me the fixed string, right? So it's supposed to give me the fixed string, hello npm, right? So now I hope you understand everything. So now what you need to do is, you can use this in two ways. One, to expose your own module as a Nest library, Nest package or Nest module. The second thing is, if you see some useful JavaScript library out there where you need to use on your NPM project, Nest.js project, then you can take that and create a wrapper to the NPM, to the Nest. Oh, what happened to me? So whenever you see a JavaScript library where it's useful to use your Nest project, you can wrap this as a Nest module and import into your project. So I hope you learned something, and then make sure you subscribe and stay safe. Take care until we see in the next video.